All right, Michael.
All
Whenever you're
right.
ready, I can fire it off again.
Okay. Are you recording again, Olson?
Yep,
You're good?
we're good to go. Yep.
Okay.
Come one, come all. Welcome back to Chiowa. We are in episode 85. As always, I am Michael Olson alongside my good buddy, Michael Stampa. And today we're joined by two special guests, Forrest Parsons and Charles Steele from the Pulmonary Vein Stenosis 4-miler. Guys, welcome to the show. How we doing this afternoon?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Our pleasure. I know that Forrest and I have been going back and forth for a while now trying to make this happen, so super stoked to have you guys on. Before we kind of get into the race and the cause itself, maybe give us a quick introduction as to who each of you are, a little bit of background about how you got into the sport, and what the goal is of this awesome race.
Yeah, I'm Forrest. I was one of those. I was athletic most of my childhood. I was in pretty much every sport, every season. So coming out of high school, I ended up just kind of falling out of sports, and found out later on I got a little fluffy, and so I decided to get into some runs to kind of help get back in shape. And I found the more I signed up for races, the more motivated, having that accountability definitely helped out. So I try and get into more races, the better for every year. And Charles and I have gone back and forth racing each other and motivating each other. Kind of that smack talk kind of gets in there, but yeah. So we decided to kind of take the love of running and make it into something a little bit bigger. So yeah.
Awesome. Forrest, sounds like we had a similar reason to kind of get our butts in shape. I came out of college a little fluffy, as you said. And I was like, okay, time to get a little more serious about doing some physical activity. And it was it's a great decision that we both made, it sounds like. But
It's up on you fast.
it certainly does. Yeah, that Jack's
it-
pizza that you have for lunch every day catches up with you in college.
Yeah, you can't eat tater tot casserole every night.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But awesome.
Right.
Charles, give us a little background about who you are.
I am Charles, obviously, and I did not really grow up so much athletic. I played soccer in high school. That's pretty much it. Smoked cigarettes and partied, in high. Yeah, nothing athletic about that. And then later in life, I think 26 or no, sorry, I was 28, 29. I decided to start getting into shape again. Running is what I ended up liking the most, and I had a friend from high school get me to go to a race, and then it's just been downhill since. And then Forrest and I started working together, and like he said, it's just been somebody to to work against but work with at the same time, to meet goals, to strive for. And actually on I think we were running, it was like a 5 a.m. run out from Sam's Club to West Des Moines, is where we I think is where the run was actually, the idea of the run was actually born, was that morning, I believe.
Yeah.
Awesome. It sounds very similar to the relationship that Michael and I have.
Mhm.
We've known each other for a long time, and for a long time, Michael was into running. I hadn't wanted nothing to do with running. I kind of started to get around to the idea of maybe I wanted to, dabble in running, but not really sure. So I ended up doing the triathlon thing. We kind of had a couple different bets, so to speak, or challenges for each of us. So I resonate that a lot. It's a challenge in a competition, but as much as just challenging your buddy to keep him in shape and keep you accountable. It's an awesome relationship to have with another guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
No
A lot
doubt. No doubt. And I guess before we maybe dive into the race, maybe give us a little bit of background to kind of what the cause is, kind of if it's kind of personal to you, kind of what the connection is to this disease. I know that it's a relatively rare one, I think, pulmonary vein stenosis. So maybe give us a little background about the cause. I believe you guys are raising money for a group out in Boston. Is that correct? If you could fill us in on that, that'd be awesome.
All right, so this is where I come into play. I am actually the connection to pulmonary vein stenosis. I'll get emotional at times because it's my oldest daughter.
Okay.
She'll be 6 on July 29th. She'll be 6 this year. When she was 3, she was diagnosed with pulmonary vein stenosis. We were getting her tested for celiac disease. Was actually it was a long road to get there, but we were supposed to get tested for celiac disease. And so before they could put her under to test her stomach, to do a stomach biopsy for that, they wanted her to get an echo an echo done on her heart.
Okay.
And during that echo is where they found that she had pulmonary vein stenosis, and she was 3 at the time. I wasn't there for the first echo, and my wife was, and then the cardiologist wanted to meet with us, and my wife was like, oh, this isn't good. She had no idea what was wrong. But then, then it like, we got the news and it just uprooted everything. Cause then we're hearing, we had no idea what it was. And then we're hearing the cardiologist is telling us all sorts of weird things, like, our options later down the line, like removing part of my daughter's lung, and
Wow.
All the way up to a possible heart transplant or lung transplant. Like there's all these things just flying around this room in that like hour segment. But we all we heard is like a short lifespan. We were hearing the worst of the worst and when we were getting told. So then we went on I can't remember all the details off the top of my head. That my wife's really good at that part. But we went on a long path to even get tested. And at first we were told, because I guess maybe I should pulmonary vein stenosis, it affects the 4 veins that bring the oxygenated blood from the lungs back to the heart. So it creates a narrowing in those veins, and dependent on the length of the narrowing can cause the severity. It can make a difference in severity of it. So first we were told that 2 of the veins were affected. The other 2 looked like they're okay. But they can't really see the upper right vein or the upper left. I can't remember. They can't really see one through the echo. So we didn't know until we were going to get a MRI done, and they put her under, and they do an MRI, and then put a bunch of different tests. Well, then we found out that she had 3 out of the 4 veins affected, one of them completely blocked off. So she didn't have any flow going to the upper lobe of one of her lungs. So with pulmonary vein stenosis, it causes hypertension in the lungs as well. So it's a dual threat disease where it can cause hardening of your heart in that area, but can also cause hypertension in your lungs. So like you will, like my daughter, she'll be blue sometimes, like in her lips. So she'll be more pale than most kids in general. She'll tire down easier than most kids. With her in particular, she was sick all the time, and we had no clue why she was sick all the time. It was like every week she had a fever. We were taking her to the hospital, emergency room, all these different things, and we never knew for the first 3 years of her life. And then we got our world uprooted with this news and with this diagnosis. But through the process, after we figured out how bad it was, we started doing research. Well, and then we found that Boston Children's has one of the only teams in the world, I do believe, and I know in the country, possibly the world, that has a team dedicated to pulmonary vein stenosis. And most of the research that you do and a lot of that research comes out of Boston, because they've been doing it forever. And there's tons of research from Kathy Jenkins, which is the head cardiologist there for the pulmonary vein stenosis team. And a lot of that research is her research that they talk about when it comes to like using chemo drugs to treat it. And like the more advanced techniques have been coming out of Boston so far. So we were pretty blessed, and an act of God, I believe, that we were able to connect with Boston through Facebook, through a gal that actually lives in Iowa that had heard it in Boston. Wow. So it was a big thing. Like we actually were supposed to write a second, I don't know what you want to call it, but they were going to give us a second look at her case. But then through our contact in Iowa that had contact to the Boston team, we were able to contact the Boston team directly, and we were actually able to get in. Like they're like, yeah, you sound like your daughter needs to be here for intervention or whatever. So one of the things that they did with her when we first went there in 2018, they did an open heart surgery on her. So they opened her up. So she's got the whole zipper mark and everything, but they opened her up and they replaced they didn't replace, sorry, they repaired the stenosis in it, and they did further investigation into it. And luckily for her, my daughter's case, and for us, her narrowing is in just a small area of it. So she has an abnormality, I can't say it, in her vein or in her body, that the veins pressing against it, and it causes a few different issues, but it's causing the stenosis in it. which is, they say it's like a callus on your hand. As the blood flows over it, it continues to callus and callus and callus.
Got it.
Same thing that's happening in the vein. The more the blood flows over it, the more it's starting to neck down. But for some kids, it's the entirety of the vein. For some kids, it's just a little portion of it. And for us, like I said, we're pretty blessed that violas are just in little areas. But I mean, they're still severe enough. In 2019, we were supposed to go every month, whatever, for a echo and a lung scan. Well, for a whole year, we thought everything was great. We thought everything was going fine. They had all the veins open again. And then we got told that we lost 2 of the veins. But then, so they couldn't get it with the balloon cath. And then we went back 6 months later and they actually got into the veins, and they were able to put stents in. Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Yeah.
Appreciate you sharing this with us.
But they got stents in. So now we go every 6 months to get the stents enlarged and get the, and open it up. So now like it's crazy too, because we'll get the stents opened up and then she'll shoot up like 1.5 inches in height because she's now got full blood.
Sure.
Growth. Yeah. So we can tell that she starts slowing down and, she starts having issues where she can't keep up with her little sister. And so you can kind of tell that she gets paler easier at times, but then we get the stents enlarged and it's like, whoop, and she's good to go for a few months.
Sure.
We still go every 4 weeks to get echoes done and to get lung scans done. And then every 6 months we go to Boston for intervention. But that's how we ended up in Boston, because Boston is so, is so ahead of the game on a lot of these places. I mean, they're helping kids all over. And I was trying to look up stats for you guys, and it sounds like you were looking up some too, but it's no case of pulmonary vein stenosis is the same, unfortunately. So it's unpredictable. So you see a lot of statistics varying on what specifically the studies that they're talking about. So no study that is talking about certain stats is necessarily the case across the line for all PVS cases. So it's kind of hard to nail down an actual, like data for it in certain aspects. It's really rare. I saw one time it was 1 in 100,000 kids. Another place that said 1 out of every million. So it's the varying circumstances of it is crazy. And like my daughter, she wasn't diagnosed until 3. Most kids are diagnosed within the first month of their life or within the first year. Okay. My daughter was so old already that it was never a thought to really check her heart for any of that. And she was one of the few cases that Boston had seen with hers, and she's best case scenario with 2 because she doesn't have any other health ailments where a lot of the other kids do. The more veins affected is the more severe it is, which it substantially subtracts on the lifespan of any of these kids. But now if you start adding in other health problems along with it, it increases, it makes that percentage, of life go down further and further with each health issue. Viola doesn't have any other major health things. She has one other heart condition, which is the bicuspid aortic valve. I have the same thing. I actually found out after because she had it, they wanted us to test, and I actually have it. So I have to watch out for future aortic aneurysm later in life or whatever. No big deal. Shouldn't be a big, I hope. But that's why we were running that one day, and we were just out there, and then we were, we talked about helping Boston somehow, and yeah, but that's the basis of why we chose Boston, why we're trying to do something for them. The research pool, and that Boston has a lot of donors, but if we could donate money directly to the Pulmonary Vein Stenosis Research Fund, that's what I want to go to, because they do a wonderful job out there. My daughter hated going to the doctor, absolutely despised it. With nothing you could do, you would have to drag her, and thankfully she's just this little thing. But when we left Boston, she cried because we took an Uber to drop the keys off, an apartment key off to another person, and my daughter thought we were going back in, and she cried when we were leaving because she wanted to go back in that hospital. Wow. So they're doing something right there that no other place is doing. I mean, the hospital is amazing. They have robotic carts that deliver food. Freaked me out first time I saw one. Like this cart followed me down the hallway and asked me to move. I was like, what? This thing was weird. The cart literally asks to be in the elevator itself.
That's amazing. Technology is amazing.
Insane. It's like a Roomba that gives you snacks.
Yeah, right.
Insane.
Well, it's insane. Well, Charles, thank you for being transparent and open and honest about kind of how it's affected you, in your family personally. And it sounds like obviously Boston is doing an incredible job. Before we even get into the race itself, whoever's listening, where can they go to get involved in this, whether it's, with the race or not, where can they go to donate, and get involved with this cause that goes directly to, the PBS group, maybe outside just the Boston group in general?
So we're, like, do you want a donor for outside, Boston or for the Boston? Cause we have a Boston.
Yeah, exactly. So who is going directly to this group in Boston? Where can people get involved? Where can they donate to? What's the best bet?
So it's going to be, we have a Facebook and everything is linked. You can get to it from the Facebook. We have, the Boston, I think we have to link that to the Facebook. We linked it last year, but for some reason, every year you have to create a new fundraiser page through Boston.
Okay.
So we'll link that. We'll try to get that tonight. I'll get him that information, get that linked, but also the website's linked on the Facebook. And then through the website, I have it linked to there's a donate only, and that'll take her right to the Boston, the Fundraise Your Way Boston page directly to the Pulmonary Research Fund at Boston.
And for those who are listening, that Facebook page, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it's a PVS 4 Mile EHOH, on Facebook. Yep. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that is.
And we'll put that stuff in the show notes and stuff too. So it'll be easy for people to get to it.
Put on the social and stuff. That'd be great. So just wanted to make sure before we got into it too, further, we can get people looped in as kind of how they can get involved directly, whether it's through the race or not. But those who are involved in doing the race, we certainly want to kind of hear about. Obviously we heard about the background that you guys have in the race, but tell us, there's a million ways to raise money now, right? There's countless ways. Why this specific type of race? I think that, Michael and I love kind of these backyard ultra kind of type of events. And it looks like there's a couple that have sprouted up in Iowa the last couple of years, which is awesome, but maybe give us a little bit of the backstory and kind of how Easter Lake was decided on, how, the backyard ultra type, the EHOH type of race was kind of settled on.
Where did we pick that?
Well, it was kind of some of this kind of was triggered from David Goggins' book. I passed that back and forth, but it must have been George. So we passed this book around, and after reading it, it was one of those things. It's like, all right, I got to find something that is kind of stupid that other people won't want to do. That that makes me want to do it. When more people are like, no, that sounds terrible. Well, sign me up then.
Yep.
So I told some guys at work that, hey, I'm going to go out to Easter Lake. It's just over 4 miles for a lap. I said, all right, I'm going to, every hour I'm going to, do a lap around. And so Charles and some friends of ours joined us for the first year that we did this. And it was just a group of friends, and so we did this, and we realized how tough it was. It sounds so much easier talking.
Certainly.
We were foolish at first. We were talking about doing a 4 mile loop out of Ashworth.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's got some nice hills.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's difficult. Doing it once or twice is tough, but every hour on the hour.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
The moment we did it out at Easter, we're like, yeah, Ashworth's out. That's
nice and flat.
Yep.
No, I fell in love with that book too. Are you talking about You Can't Hurt Me? Is that the book you're referring to? Yeah. When I bought that, and I think I finished that in a weekend. I couldn't put it down. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, good one. Yep. So yeah, it definitely put some different ideas in our heads, and
well, and right after we did it too, George is one of the other members of our team. We have 2 other current active members that help us, that help get everything, made up and done. Gretchen and George. And George did Easter Lake one with us, and afterwards he was like, we need to do something with this. We need to. You remember how excited? Yeah, he got excited to do something. It's like, well, I guess we're gonna do it then. Yep, we're gonna create something.
Love that. Love that. So I got to ask. I know you guys are competitive guys. So what was the year one between just like you guys? What was the how many loops did you guys get, and when was the point where you're like, shit, this is maybe a little harder than we expected? So how many loops were made with the first group, if you want to share?
So it was, I can't remember how many was with us first year. It was maybe close to between 5 and 10 people that came out and just
got it.
For some reason thought it was a good idea with us, but they all kind of dropped off. Charles and I are the only ones left for 2 or 3 laps, and him and I made it 6 laps.
Yeah. Nice.
And we shut down. At that time we were strictly 10K runners at most.
Oh damn. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna ask if you had any ultra backgrounds or anything, or what the. No. Okay.
I've done ultra.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Last year.
Nice. Which race you do last year?
Boonville.
Oh, Boonville.
Oh,
nice.
Nice.
Which 50K, 100K, 100 miler?
50.
Nice.
50K.
Yeah, we both done that a couple times as well. It's a fun and challenging course depending on how the weather shakes out. If it's hot, there's nowhere to escape that sun. It can get hot in a hurry.
It's fun though. I mean, the hills were. I knew it was hilly out there, but good golly.
I know it just keeps rolling and rolling. Yeah.
You get a hill, you get a little flat, and you go down, and you come right back up.
Yep.
It's tough.
The worst part about the whole thing though was after you cross the finish line, I had to walk all the way back across that bridge to get to my truck.
Yeah. Yep. Parked over by those silos, but yeah.
It was the worst walk, and it wasn't even the walk in general. I guess it was to go up that hill to get on the go.
Yep. Up from that boat ramp. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It was probably 20 feet to get up to the road, but man, that was a hard 20 feet.
It's a hard. And once you're done mentally, you cross that finish line. You're like, great, I'm out, I'm done. Body, time to shut down, time to turn off, and have some water, have some beer, have some food. And then it's like, oh no, I have to get up and walk. It's like it's impossible.
It's a fun one. We had Steve Cannon on, the original race director, on years ago. He's a great guy. Now Brad Dane's doing an awesome job with that. I'm glad that keeps rolling. And I think, are they having that is that in September again?
September again. Yep.
Because I know normally it's on
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
or in
coming up here.
Pre-COVID, it had been Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
Last year they moved it because of COVID. Right. And then I wonder if Brad's just going to keep it in September now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I think it's in September again this year. But anyways, not to get sidetracked, but that is a fun race, and it's nice and convenient for being in the Des Moines area too, and in your backyard. So
I was disappointed when it moved back. I was better trained up for the original date, and then it moved. Everything kind of just. I was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of wonky after that, but
yeah.
Yep. Well, good for you that you went out there and did it. It's not an easy one, like you said. You think that you run in Central Iowa, it's going to be flat, and that is certainly a roller of a course.
Yeah, I think I ended like a 5 hours and 25 minutes. I think that's what it ended up.
Nice.
That's quick.
That's great for that course.
Yeah.
I think that's why I can't remember, but it's something along the lines. But it was fun though. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
So you're gonna drag your partner in crime next to you out there one of these times?
I don't know when the next time I'll be doing an ultra will be.
So I got signed up for an ultra last year, and then COVID kind of ruined everything. So it's the stuffed turkey endurance. And so they still kind of did something last year, but I decided to move it to this year. So eventually, by the end of this year, I'll be finally getting one under my belt.
Awesome.
That's Shannon's race.
Yeah, we had Shannon on, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm glad they finally did that, because we needed another 100 miler and a trail 100 miler in Central Iowa. So I'm glad that Shannon came out and did that. The only kind of grief we gave when we had him on was saying that, man, I wish it was like not right at Thanksgiving, because I'm always like, I feel like I gained 100 pounds right after eating all that Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah. And selfishly, we're never here over Thanksgiving weekend. We're always at her parents or my parents. So if it was the weekend before, it'd be perfect, because then I'd run 100 miles and then have a completely guilt-free Thanksgiving. But
I don't think
it is.
perfect to run 100 miles. I mean, it'd be perfect. I'll run 100 miles.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's never easy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But no, that'll be awesome. That's exciting. I know that I got a few friends that are running that, so that'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting back to the to kind of, I guess, version 3 of this year's race. I think it's in September. I saw it September 11th for 2021. Is that correct?
Yes.
What are kind of the goals for race number 3? We just hoping to kind of build up, attendees for runners, or kind of what's the goal for year 3? How would you like to see it and kind of evolve in the first kind of, after COVID era of this race?
Right. Yeah, it was kind of weird for us when our technically second one that we did. We kept on talking throughout the year, like, are we going to be able to do this, with COVID and everything. So it was not, it just took away a lot of different parts of the race that we wanted to have a part of it. It just wasn't as big as we were going to hope it'd be, but it was definitely better than we expected because of all the different situations. But it's this year, we're trying to get, we've kind of got a lot of things already in place from last year. So it's the preparations, it's making it to where we can put our attention to more things to prepare for this year. And so I don't think it's going to be too tough for us to be able to get more attendees than we have in the past. But it's tough because people look at this 4 mile every hour on the hour, and some people are like, no, peace out. I'm not doing anything like that. So we're trying to advertise it in a way where, hey, if you're a 5K runner, come out and just run a lap, run 4 miles. And if you want to challenge yourself, maybe, do an extra lap, and then maybe we're definitely wanting to get out there and reach out to the people that are more ultra runners so this can fit your 5K runners, your 10K runners, your ultra marathon, and your marathon runners too.
Certainly.
And definitely being able to get all those different types of runners attention to this, and seeing that we're kind of touching, every type of runner with this. So.
Yeah. And it's especially with like a backyard ultra or like a loop style ultra, I feel like it's simpler for the RDs because you only need 1, maybe 2 aid stations. And then for the runners as well, they know they have consistent aid every 2 or 4 miles. They know exactly what to expect on the course. And especially with it being at Easter Lake, I don't think there's like any road crossings either. So it's relatively safe in terms of like traffic, run too. And kind of like you said, I'm sure people could come out and run a lap, I don't know, walk a lap. And even if they weren't able to start at the top of the hour, I'm sure you guys wouldn't mind if people kept running or skipped an hour or did whatever they wanted to do, right?
It's a public place. We can't stop you from
exactly
a lap.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it's great that you guys are kind of looking at it as, hey, it can be a leisurely stroll out there for, the everyday runner. It can be something that, somebody who's looking for a good training run for their next 50 mile or 100 mile that's coming up, or whatever it may be. But I'd encourage you guys, and if we can help in any way, to reach out to, to the other race directors, whether it be, Shannon with his race out at Jester, or, Josh Sun, who does a lot of races in Iowa. What's Josh's company called, Michael? Do you remember? It's
Josh's I think he has like Sun Trail running now, but it's the No Coast Trail and Ultra Series.
Yeah,
he's got a few races that are a part of that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'd encourage you guys to kind of get involved with those guys too, and if we can assist in that, say, hey, Shannon, let your runners know that we got this race in September that may be a good training run for you guys to get ready for your race in November, because I think that's something that I'm always looking for from the races that I'm signed up for is, hey, we got White Rock coming up, that they sometimes promote different races, and that's how I find out about a new race, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds great. So whatever we can do to kind of help promote it within the ultra community, we're certainly willing to do, and I'd encourage you to kind of make those connections with other race directors if you haven't already. I think that'd go a long way to kind of getting people signed up.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And I guess. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I was going to ask the question about race directing. Like, do either of you have any experience like race directing prior to starting this up?
No. like, we ran plenty of races. We should be able to figure this out. Yeah, and when we started going through, you know, trying to contact, like, get me registered. We have Fleet Feet also on board. They helped us out last year. They're helping us out this year. We got the bibs, and so they help us out with quite a bit of stuff. But it's like, yeah, all these different things you gotta. There's more pieces to it than we thought. So it's definitely a learning experience as we're going with this.
Yeah, we have zero clue what we're doing.
I don't think that you're alone in that. From a lot of the race directors that I've kind of gotten to know a little bit, kind of seems the same way. I know that Michael and I both know Greg Gaiman, who's one of the race directors for White Rock out in Coon Rapids, and he and his buddy were both just training for a race, and they're like, you know what, we need more trail races in Central Iowa, so they just made one up, and they're like, you know, shit, we got a lot to learn about how to do this, and you know, it gets better each year, right? So you just learn different things and what worked, what didn't, and you roll with the punches. It's like anything. You just figure it out, and you'll screw things up inevitably, but hey, that's how you learn, and things improve the following year. So props to you guys for not letting that stand in your way.
You know, we got pretty lucky last year with a primary sponsor, Jessica Wyatt. She's actually out of Ohio, is where she's out of, but she's sponsoring us through Caldwell Banker. Isn't that who it is? Yeah. And she's actually a lifelong friend of mine. You know, we grew up together, but so she hopped on board right away to donate right away last year for expenses to start the ball rolling. Well, now that we have that, I mean, we're hardly any expenses this year, but she's still diving in to sponsor again this year, the same amount she did last year, just to help. You know, that's more money to go towards it. And if we have an unexpected expense, you know, that we need, we can have something to, you know, back up to have. And hopefully we can get enough signees to generate enough revenue, you know, enough money to donate, you know, just build larger and larger and not have to really go out through too many, you know, like large sponsors or anything, you know.
Awesome. And you mentioned it briefly, but I want to reiterate it so folks know exactly where to go to sign up. And I think you can go through your website on Weebly.com, but it's on Get Me Registered, correct? That's what they can do. They can go in there and search the PVS 4 mile every hour on the hour. And it's super reasonably priced. I mean, if you can't afford this, I'm not sure you're going to find a race that you can afford. It's pretty manageable for everybody. So everyone go out there, check them out on getmeregistered.com. Super easy to find PVS 4 mile every hour on the hour coming up in September. So go check them out. But yeah, super easy to register. It looks like Get Me Registered is about as easy as it comes for races. Yeah. So it's a great place to go look for that.
Fleet Feet's got it on their race page as well too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Love Fleet Feet. Love Fleet Feet. Awesome. Yeah. So I guess if they can't, you know, if somebody's like, you know, I'm not big into running, but this sounds like an, you know, amazing cause and I want to get invested in. I know you guys got they can donate directly on the Facebook event page, but do you guys need any help in terms of volunteers or anything, or how can people, you know, assist, you know, maybe if they're not necessarily the biggest runner?
To volunteer, to help out. I mean, the best contact we have right now is pretty much through our Facebook, just like doing a messenger through there. We have an email, but it's right now, we've really just kind of focused on just like contact and vendor, the venue and stuff like that with that. So we haven't really done much with that. So Facebook's probably the best way.
We're not sure if, you know, compared to the amount of attendees from last year to this year, I mean, if we get a substantial amount more, then yeah, we'll need more volunteers. But as of right now, I mean, we were good, you know, for what we had for people attending. It was, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a 4 mile loop. You know, you come back, doesn't really take much to.
And maybe you don't need volunteers, but I wanted to at least throw it out there in case you guys do.
Sure.
So
yep,
absolutely, cool.
Definitely have just in case, that having that back pocket. Yeah,
sure,
right.
So what can people expect at the race? It's obviously 4 mile loop. I think most of it's paved. What about like hydration, snacks? I don't know.
Self-supported? Is there aid stations?
Self-supported, unsupported. Yeah.
Yep.
We will have a bunch of water there. I mean, we did last year, so we'll do the same thing this year. We do have, and we're gonna have hot dogs, I think, again this year.
Nice.
Yes.
Clutch.
I love a good race hot dog.
burgers and hot.
Yeah, I think we did burgers and hot dogs last year, just as people. Yeah, you know, it's kind of early, so we we had some grill issues last year. We're gonna iron out those issues and get the grill going a little bit sooner this year. But yeah, I mean, so we'll have that type of stuff. As for like race goodies for, like I know people like the waffle or the type of stuff for endurance. We won't have any of that, but we'll have a hot dog for you if you want one.
Hey, I don't think
Honestly,
I've ever. Sorry, you can go. You're probably gonna say the same thing I am, but I don't think I've ever seen Michael Stanfield. I've known him for 25 years. I don't think I've ever seen him happier than we were at like mile, I don't know, 45 of a 100-miler, and he was eating a hot dog. I've never seen him happier in my entire life.
Yep, 100%. A good mid race hot dog.
Yeah.
If you've got some mustard, great. If you don't, I'll just take it plain. I think I ate one or two, and then I took 1 or 2 for the road.
Yeah.
Like it just hits a spot nice and warm.
Salty, delicious.
So good. so delicious.
Cover that sucker in mustard.
And I have a feeling if we get the attendees that we're aiming for and hoping for, I think eventually we're going to start talking about different, because we have vendors that we've talked to off and on, but we're at the size right now. We're like, well, we don't want to commit with you because we don't want to necessarily waste their time.
Sure.
We don't have attendees yet. So once we get the attendees up, I feel we'll be able to start adding some of those things to the race.
Sure.
Cool.
And like, I think, obviously either way, no pressure. We've both, I think, done races where they have a bunch of goodies and a bunch of stuff. And we've both done races where it's very minimal and it's pretty much just water and then you're self-supported. And especially with like a looped race like that,
Exactly.
like I personally have no issue self-supporting. Get some chips, get some candy. And if I know there's going to be a hot dog waiting for me, I'm good to go.
Right.
There's always going to be that one guy that's upset, but
you can't please everybody. That's life.
Can't please everybody. It's like read the instructions, read the race manual to understand what's going to be available, and then come prepared to support yourself if you need to, dude.
I think that anyone that's going to be doing long distance that doesn't ultras, they're going to come with a million, probably 45 pounds worth of snacks anyways. And at least that's kind of, I always joke, that's the reason why I run ultras. It's just like for the excuse to eat an obnoxious amount of food. So anyone that's actually going to be running long distance that needs actual nutrition they'll have plenty of their own stuff in their trunk of the car. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know, the Boonville, I just kind of won it. I really didn't have anything with it. I was just, I don't know. I'll figure it out while I'm out there, I guess.
Yep. Yep. No, that was the first ultra I ever did was Boonville. And it was like 90 degrees, 95 degrees out there. It was brutal. I quickly realized that, okay, if I'm going to start doing these, I should probably have a nutrition strategy. So it's something I learned my first one.
Yeah. And I brought like way too much stuff for my first one. Like I had a backpack, not just like a water bottle or water bladder, like a backpack with like a bunch of shit in it. And
really?
Yeah, it was stupid. I don't know. I mean, it was like a running backpack or like a hiking one, and I had a bladder, but I also had a bunch of other stuff. And I just ran right by that first aid station at mile 10 because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, I don't need to stop. I'm good. Yeah, not a good idea. But you'll learn.
I didn't have anything, but I ran by it. I had water.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I think I have enough to make it to the next one. I didn't have enough water to make it to the next one.
Yeah, it always tricks you in the mornings. You start early enough where it's still kind of cool. And it's not, the sun's not high. You're not really sweating a whole lot. And that in between that first and second one, it starts getting warm a little bit. But
even if you go into it with a system though, because I had a plan, eat every 18 minutes, drink every 16. Oh, I'm not thirsty. I'm not going to drink.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It gets, when you get behind,
it comes at you quick.
It can snowball pretty quick. Yeah, I guess, guys, in terms of, what else we need to know about the race, this is certainly as much as we enjoy asking questions, getting to know you guys, we want to leave this as much as a platform for you to talk about your race. Anything that we need to know about the race coming up in September? I think we got the info out there about how to register and get involved, but anything we missed that we should know about?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I think we've touched it pretty good on what it's about, what it's for.
We'll start at 9:00 in the morning.
Okay.
With lap, and then every hour, top of the hour is what we plan to do. I know me personally, if we, depending on people that sign up, I plan on doing at least 6 laps, I think. Is that what I said Friday?
Thanks.
I think I'm going to plan on doing at least 6 laps in preparation for the INT, because that'll fall right in line for
perfect. Yep.
marathon training. So that's going to be my peak week before it, or it's like 3 weeks out or whatever. So I plan on doing, barring an abundance of signups where I need to help. But
right.
Okay.
So just for all the competitive guys out there,
Mm-hmm.
I know that we got a bunch of friends in Des Moines who are into the running scene. Just so there's a benchmark, not to say that this matters at all, but this is year 3. There's is 6 the current quote unquote record, or is there a record that's out there? Is that kind of more hush hush? This is more for fun, or what's for the competitive folks? What should they be aiming for?
6 is the most we've done.
Okay.
6. Okay.
There you go. There's a benchmark for you guys out there listening who want to go out
I-
there and run a whole bunch.
I guess I will say too, because we're doing trophies that we're giving out for the fastest lap number 1.
Okay.
So if somebody goes out and just runs 1 lap and just blows it out, well, they'll get I don't know. Here, do you want to?
It's on our page too.
Yeah. Please do. Oh, nice. Awesome.
Oh, nice. That's sweet.
That's very cool. Very
So
cool.
we have one for the fastest first lap male, fastest first lap female, and then for the most laps male and female. So we have 4 of those trophies to give out. So it'll be
Awesome.
It's the first year of the trophies, so it's you kind of want those.
It's a big deal. Absolutely, man.
It is.
Some hardware to take home after this, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Very
And
cool.
I like those. I like that they're little, like, I don't know, like desk stand type things. It's not just like a medal. Like, medals are great. Love medals. But I have all my medals in a box down under there. And the stuff that I have up and out and displayed is this thing. This is a clock, which I got from a different race. And then my wife has something up above her desk. That's just like something that's a little bit more unique. So one of those, longest distance. Yeah, that'd be sitting probably right over there somewhere up top.
Well, and for people that do like the medal idea, we got the wooden pucks that we're going to brand for
Nice.
everybody that signs up or whatever. So we'll have a fire going with the brander on it. Again, last year we had mishap with the fire at the beginning, so we weren't able to brand a couple of them. Luckily, the attendees, the only ones that missed out were people that we work with, so we were able to do it and give it to them.
There you go.
Yeah, so everybody else they'll get one of the little pucks. I don't know if either one of you guys saw the Iowa Trail Series 1 a few years ago out of White Rock.
Yes. Yeah.
That idea came from all those. And I was like, oh, that's a really clever thing. We can get a brand, and then it's got the same logo on it and everything. You just
Very cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
But even
that's
that
great.
too, like, that's
It's unique. Yeah.
cooler and unique and different
Absolutely.
than a medal.
No doubt. Michael and I
Yeah.
just did a race.
Not
actually
trying to
here.
put down medals, but
Yeah, but you're right though. Michael and I just did a race a couple weeks ago. It's called the Earth Day 50K, whatever. But they just use like upcycled wood, and then they had a bunch of kids come in and paint the
it's right
the pieces of wood for different.
right there.
You can't see that at all.
You can't really see it. It's just like
anyways,
it's like a 4x4.
just painted it. So it was obscure. They were all unique, and a bunch of hand painted things from kids, and it was a fun thing to like bring home. That wasn't just a stamped medal that again goes into a drawer and you forget about. So that's cool that you guys are doing that. Again, nothing against medals. I feel like every episode we talk about like how we enjoy things besides medals on the show. But anyways,
I think this is now just like a medal shaming podcast. That's what it's turned into.
It seems like. Yeah, we talk about eating food and shaming medals. So anyways, I know you guys are you got families to have to take care of tonight, but thank you both for coming on. I'll let Michael finish up here, but I do want to commend you again, Charles. Thank you for being so open and transparent about how this is close to home for you, and certainly sending positive thoughts and prayers to you and your family and your daughter. It's an amazing cause. Super excited to help you guys out and get the word out a little bit. But I know that you got a lot of folks listening that will want to get involved in some way or somehow. So Michael, I'll leave it to you, and guys, before we'll say goodbye on the show, but if you guys want to hang on the line too, we can talk offline before we hang up.
Yep. So again, I just echo everything that Olson said. Charles, again, thanks for sharing your story. We, like you said, we appreciate your transparency and your honesty. It really seems like obviously this cause really hits home, and I feel like we can do a lot of good, and this race can generate a lot of good to help your daughter and and other families like it. So again, we want to do as much as we can to help. And we will, okay, let's see. So Facebook, we got PBS 4 Mile EHOH, right?
Yep.
Okay, so PBS 4 Mile EHOH every hour on the hour. If you're listening now, go to Facebook, like that page, join that group, and if you can spare it, donate and sign up for the race. I'm excited for it. You can also go out to Get Me Registered, PVS 4EHOH. I actually typed that wrong, so that's my bad. Yeah, I think that's all I really have. Thanks again, guys, for joining the show. We really appreciate it. If people want to reach out to you directly, is still the best way to communicate, just through that Facebook group, is it a Facebook group or a Facebook page?
It's a page.
Okay. So again, PVS 4 Mile EHOH on Facebook. Contact them directly.
Cool.
If anybody has any questions about the PVS aspect of it, I'm pretty open about it. They can hit me up on Instagram. That's where I am, Charles_Steele 515, I think.
I'm a 515 Instagrammer too. I'm a Michael Olson 515. Hell yeah.
We'll get your, I guess really any handles. If you have Instagram or Twitter or whatnot, and we'll get those added in if people want to reach out to.
Right on.
So,
awesome. Well,
cool.
thanks, gentlemen. And like you said, you can hang on the phone here, and we'll sign off. But thanks for listening, everybody. We will catch you next week.